Previously on Jeffrey Scarber's Board Gaming Geek Things, we unboxed Clue Harry Potter Edition. Clue Harry Potter Edition, where there was dark magic at the Hogwarts. Hey. Now there is the game. The Game of Thrones Clue. Now, you may have seen me unbox this game before when I was at one of the cons. One of the Comic-Cons that I go to. Because they had this game and I unboxed it there. So, but now I actually have the game. So, that I got from the thrift store for $4. So, it was originally, I think, $40 or $50 or something brand new when it first came out. So I'm thinking I can get $30 for it, at least. Maybe more. Anyway, it has a double-sided game board. The Red Keep and Merrin. It has 12 characters to choose from. I don't know all the names of these characters. But I think they have little things telling us the names, so that helps. And 6 custom weapons. Hopefully it's all there. So we're going to examine it and see if Clue Game of Thrones, which house is your house edition. Yeah, comment down below what house is your house. And so this one's a little bit different because it gave you 12 different characters to play from. It would have been better not to have been double-sided, in my opinion. It would have been better to give us 2 separate boards, like they did with the Risk game, that you can actually combine the 2 boards together. And the Risk game to make, so it's like, the Risk game has 2 different, you can battle for Ethros and Westeros. Excuse me. Free bonus pencils and pen. Expo Dry Erase pen. And Office Depot pencils. Nice bonus. I think they played this game a pretty good amount. Here is one of the looks like a start of one of the games. It comes with a bunch of these cards. Here's the dice, which have this question mark on them. Here are, I hope I find all of the components, because it would kind of suck if it doesn't have everything. Here are 2 of the weapons, 3 of the weapons. Hopefully we'll find the rest. Yeah, that would be nice. Or they donated it because they lost all the parts. I don't know. And there's 4 of the weapons. So far we have found 4 out of 6. Like that, 5 out of 6. That's pretty good. We just need 1 more weapon. Here are the character tokens. Here are the question mark intrigue cards. Question mark intrigue cards. You got a White Walker. Master of Whispers. Cards. So that's all you have is Master of Whispers and White Walker cards. For that. Then you have rumor cards here. You have rumor cards, which of course are the characters. You got Hasdan Zolorik. I am mispronouncing these names. I am not even going to attempt to try to say their names. Grey Worm, Missandei, Daenerys Targaryen, Dario Naris. Well, I'm trying to say their names, but I'm pretty sure I'm getting them wrong. Then you got the locations like the Dragon Catacombs, Temple of Graces, the City Gates. And they have a symbol on there so you know which side of the board you're supposed to use. Slave Quarters, Pyramid of the Great Masters, Fighting Pit of Danzig, Grand Bazaar, the Brothel, Tunnels, and here's the weapons. Poison Veil, the Araka, which looks like a safe, which I don't see in this game. I do not see the little safe. So that is the weapon I am missing, is the Araka. Sparring Yard, you got Tristan Lannister, Peter Bellish, Carissa Bedchambers, The Faceless Man, Small Council Chamber, Margaret Terrell, Pavilion, Crossbow, Battle Axe. Have the Battle Axe, have the Crossbow, have the Faceless Man, Prison Cell, Jaime Lannister, Quabbin's Laboratory. You're supposed to be over there. The Cat's Paw Assassin Dagger. I have that too. Tower of the Hand, Sansa Stark, and Gardens. Now, theoretically, I think they want you to play with the different symbols and the different characters from the different ones, but you could mix and match the characters. Oh, wow. Here are a couple more intrigue cards. White Walkers. And here are another couple more intrigue cards. Then, of course, Carissa Lannister, the King's Guard Chambers, Grandmaster Parcel's Lab, and King Tommen's Bed Chambers. So, personally, I don't like the fact that they only gave you 6 of these. They should have gave you 12 of these because they gave you 12 characters. Also, giving us cardboard cutout characters like this is other garbage. Yes, this is cool and all, but why not just give us actual miniatures, please? You're charging $40, $50 something for a board game. Please just give us actual miniatures. Thank you. I mean, you can spawn, you can scrounge up for, these metal pieces. You can scrounge up to give us plastic miniatures. Especially if you're charging it that much that you are charging. This allows, each player has a special power. So that's cool. I'm wondering if it's any way possible if you could implement these special powers for the characters into like your risk game, and have these as bonus leaders for your different factions or whatever, and mix and match, and then you could use these tokens right here as your leader tokens. I know I think are certain leader. There is a certain leader aspect in the Risk game, but this would be kind of interesting by having actual leaders on the board. I think in that game you have certain leaders and you can use them as cards in the Risk game, and it's kind of not quite the same as having leaders on the actual board. So this one is fine. I guess it would allow your leader an extra fortification. It says once per game you may move twice. So you could move your leader an extra fortification. And this one says once per game you may start a rumor using a location you are not in. So I don't know how that would work with Risk, but you could, I guess, draw, like, if there's territory cards or something, I guess you could draw a territory card that's not the location you're in, or you could maybe, I don't know, move this character to use this character as a leader, even though the person's not in the location they are, because you started a rumor where everybody thinks she is in this territory, so the enemy thinks that you have a leader in that location, in a different territory, when she's in a different territory. I guess that's how that could work. This one is once per game you may move twice, so it's the same as the other one. This one is once per game you may start 2 rumors on the same turn, so it worked the same way as that one, as the last card said. This one is once per game you may randomly pick a card to look at from someone you just showed a card to. So in this particular case, you could look at one of someone else's cards in their hand. It's the same one about starting a rumor using a location that you're not in. This is once per game you may look at a card that one player has just shown another player, same as the last one. This is once per game you may move to any location that does not have a secret passage. So again, that would be a maneuver move. And maybe you could change secret passage to port, because in the Game of Thrones Risk there's a bunch of ports. Once per game you may look a card that one player has just shown another player. Same. A lot of these have the same, ability. Once per game you may move to any location that does not have a secret passage. That's the same ability as the other person. Once per game you may randomly pick a card to look at someone. That's also the same ability. And once per game you may start 2 rumors on the same turn. So 2 rumors instead of 1 is pretty good. I actually think that's the best. The bonus rumor is good. The making a rumor at somewhere where you're not located helps. Is pretty good. Moving basically anywhere you want to move, or moving twice, that's pretty cool. So that's the game, pretty much, except for I have not shown you the game rules yet. Of course, you got the Red Keep and Marion, so there's page 2 and page 4. They have different rules for the different things. Like, here's the setup for the Red Keep, and here's the setup for Marion. So they're not much different, except for it shows that you use a different set of suspects depending on where you're located. And like I said, you could theoretically, because I don't think it matters much, mix and match the suspects, because it really shouldn't matter. I think that's just for thematic effect. is you having these suspects at the Red Keep and these suspects at the Marin locations, because in the show that's where the people were. Then you have start playing who wins. You move, you start a rumor, you make your clue sheet, mark your clue sheet, and make an accusation. Move, there are two ways to move. You can roll the dice or use the secret passages. Start a rumor. Proving a rumor true or false. What if a player can't show me a card? If you moved into a location as part of a rumor, mark your clue sheet. How to win, make an accusation. Were you right? Were you wrong? What is everybody's guess? What if everybody guesses incorrectly? Intrigue cards. Master Whispers, White Walker, drawing the 8th White Walker card. So if you draw the 8th White Walker card, you are out of the game. So, and personality cards, which give special powers. 3 ways to draw intrigue cards. 2-player or team rules. So they've fixed a way to play it with 2 players. Okay. Okay. I'm not sure why, but they gave a tray like this that's kind of like the Monopoly tray, because it has a little section here to put money, but there's no money in the Clue game. So why they did that makes absolutely, positively no sense at all. This is totally useless right here, this part of the tray. Anyway, it's 17 minutes and you still haven't shown me the board yet. Is what people are saying. Or going to yell at me in the comment section. So here is the first board, which is the red. I believe this is the Red Keep side. It kind of probably, just a little gripe that I have is it probably should have wrote it right under here where it says Game of Thrones, or it should have wrote it over here where it says Clue. It should have put a symbol like either a letter A for us knowing that, or literally wrote the Red Keep side. Could have wrote it underneath here. Could have wrote the Red Keep, or you could have wrote A or B for whichever side of the board it is. That's just a little pet peeve, but they could have did that. I mean, it would not have cost anything extra. So you have the throne room, which is where you're trying to get to make your final accusation to see if you won. Then, of course, you got the sparring yard, King Tomaine's bed chambers, the small council chamber, the gardens, the pavilion, the Tower of the Hand, the Grandmaster Fassel's lab, Cersei's bed chambers. There's a lot of bed chambers in this game. Quarren's laboratory, the prison cells, and the King's guard chambers. There's a lot of chambers in this game, and it's probably because a lot of people are messing around in their chambers because of the game having the show. I mean, not necessarily the game, but the show has a lot of mature sexual things going on in the game. So this is the second side, which has Game of Thrones down there, and this is the Maryland side. Marin, Meeren, Marin side. Again, they could have wrote Marin side or put a B up in the corner somewhere. You got a clue right there, which says the classic mystery game. You got Game of Thrones down there, and you got a little section right there, an empty space where you could have put B. Just B. Or you could have wrote in that corner Marin side. Come on. Come on, Hasbro. Hasbro. You're charging enough for the game. You could have easily put an A or B on the board, or the name of the type of board. It's not that hard to do. So in this game, you have the city gates. In this particular game, you're trying to get to the Great Pyramid to make your final acquisition. So you got the city gates. You got the dragon catacombs. You got the pyramid of the great masters. You got the slave quarters. You got the brothel. You got the temple of the graces. You got the fighting pit of Daznik. A nice artwork of a dragon in there. You got the grand bazaar. You got the tunnels. And of course, you got to have the brothels, because where else the hoes going to be at? The hoes. In this game, every girl in the show is a hoe, in my opinion. 3 or 4, even because I don't think there's a single girl in the show that you ain't going to see, whose boobs or something in that show. And you don't even have to watch the whole freaking series. I think I had watched like season 1, and man, there was a lot of sex, and I didn't like the show. Honestly, I'm just going to tell you, I did not like the show because it had too much dialogue about talking and backstabbing and politics, and it showed some battles, but it didn't show that many battles. And I know somebody in the comments is going to say, well, George R.R. Martin was a pacifist, anti-Vietnam person, and he made the books to be about the politics, not about the actual wars and battles and all the backstabbing and stuff. And he was a free love hippie, so of course he's going to have a bunch of sex in his books and the show. Yeah, I get that. But it's supposed to be a fantasy medieval television show. And you spent more time on dialogue that we've already heard one character say, and then we hear another character say it. So, repetitive dialogue, which was unnecessary, because you had repetitive dialogue. You spent most of the time on the political leaders backstabbing each other. Sometimes, and in some cases, literally backstabbing each other. By, murdering one another and each other. Just so that everybody could try to become the great king of all the houses or whatever, right? While in the background, there's actual wars between each house's factions fighting each other over various different locations. And you were able to pay for enough extras to show me both sides about to go to battle, right? And then the very next scene is you, the people who wrote the show. Yes, you just showed me this army and this army in a medieval setting were about to engage in battle. Cut for commercial break. I come back to the end of the battle. Which, yeah, if you're watching the show and you're watching a commercial, that makes sense. Kind of. But if you can pay for all those extras to be in the movie, you could film them fighting. Instead, you decided to film the whole entire army, about to engage in battle, cut... black screen, and then when I come back after the black screen's over with, I see all the dead bodies of after the battle's over with. You spent more time showing me one of the girls and one of the guys having sex, or one of the guys having sex with the brothel chicks, or you spent more time showing sex and multiple dialogue than you did on the actual war, battles, and stuff that is going on. Again, unnecessary dialogue, because I already heard character A in episode B say this, and now character C in episode D is saying the same thing that I've already heard. If you've kept up with the show, you would already know what's going on with the political backstabbing. You wouldn't necessarily need to be told multiple times. Now, I get that character E may have just figured out something that character A already knew later down the line, and you're showing the dramatic effect of somebody learning something that we as the audience already know, but it kind of defeats the purpose when you tell us, the audience, what's going on multiple freaking times. It's just not necessary. You don't have to let us, the audience, know every time a new character learns something that we already know. Even if they didn't know yet. And if you had the money to pay for extras, why not show the epic battles? I mean, you can somehow manage to have a sex scene that could last hour-long show, and you have a sex scene that lasts at least 10% of the show, and you can have multiples of those during the show. So let's say maybe 20 to 30 minutes of the show is dedicated to sex in a 50-minute show because of commercials and whatnot. An hour show. But you can't show me 20 minutes of the war, the battles, the actual going on. Yeah. Don't get it. You can show some of the... I get that you show some of our heroes fighting, and they fighting each other, but our heroes are politicians, so to speak, and they're... For people that are rich and members of houses and princes and royalty, you would think that they would have the finest warrior teachers that would taught them how to actually fight, but they seem to suck. It's like they are... it's like they're not battle hardened. So a one-on-one battle with two of our characters that are basically princes that are, you know, they're rich people that are stuck up, arrogant, snob, snooty people. Who cares? I'm over here on the... You gave us terrible one-on-one combat battles between two people. And then they don't actually fight to the death. It's so, yeah. Show me the war, the actual war, the battle between the battle. And please explain to me why some of these characters, like Snow, I think that's one of the characters' names. Why is he such an important character? He's not even that good at fighting. How many times does he get like captured or and has to figure out a way to escape? Or I mean, you would think this guy would be a character that would know how to fight and get butt and defeat the enemy, not get like captured and junk. Jon Snow, I think, is the character. So I don't know. I'm basing my whole entire dislike of the show on the first season because I didn't see anything else. So I can't really, keep saying stuff. But it just seemed like they could have did better. Season 1 made me not want to watch a season 2 because of that. So that's, I guess people might say in the comments below, the show gets better. I'm like, well, they should have been better to start with. I mean, I get it's on HBO Cinemax, which is I think it was HBO, which is the adult channels. But could y'all, like, have less dialogue, less sex, and more action war, please? So, I don't know why it's so popular. I mean, did people watch it just to see the girls' tits and stuff? Come on. I mean, did people watch it because it was like a soap opera of sorts? Because I never liked soap operas, so yeah, I don't really like the drama that much. I do when you have some action involved, but you kept cutting out the action, the good action. So yeah, please, just yeah, I just been ranting for the last like 15 minutes or something about a show. So maybe y'all will skip all that after the unboxing was over with, because y'all probably don't care about the rants. But I'm kind of repeating myself on certain things, so I'm starting to cough and stuff now. So I've talked enough, I guess. Anyway, remember that the King of Kings and Lord of Lords is always on the real throne, and that would be Jesus Christ and God, who is good all the time. All the time, God is good. And Jesus loves you. Jesus is God. Jesus is on the throne because he's the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, who has the throne above all thrones. And all that. And he loves you, and he sacrificed himself for you, and you can accept him as your Lord and Savior. Today is the day. And since this is a clue game, I'm going to let you guess who, which is another type of board game, and it's also excuse me, election day. I'm going to let you guess who you think is going to win the presidency today on election day, which we might not find out until next week, because they got to do that political backstabbing and stealing votes and whatnot, and fighting over whether this vote should be counted or that vote should be counted or whatever, because of discrepancies and whatnot and all that other bunch of junk. Yeah, it's election day, and I'm unboxing a clue game about a show called Game of Thrones, which is completely about politics in the medieval times. To air all these different houses wanting to be the king of, wanting to sit in the Iron Throne, to be the king of all the houses. That's interesting. That's something. Yeah. Later.